Busted. Fixed. Fixed. Okay, come on. Yay. All right. I think I figured this out. I figured it out. Picture really has got to fix itself. I tell you, what is the world coming to? Come on. That picture sucks. Oh, that is so bad. Okay. It's evening out a little bit. Okay. So we're going to tear apart this picture today. So I just wanted to make sure this was sounding okay. If it gets blurry, I don't know why. Something's not getting it right. So I do apologize for the blurriness. Hopefully we can get through this because it's not going to move a lot. I will. It won't. And we'll go from there. So, but it worked. I figured out you actually have to press the live button to start a stream. So here we go. So in today's video, I have not taken this apart and put it back together again. Sometimes I cheat and do that. In this case, I have not. If the music is too loud, let me know because I do have my licensed music playing in the background. Just have something else besides me. Should be loud enough though for everybody to hear a little bit in case I'm just like flipping things. And we're gonna just make sure that everything's happening at the same time. So, and there you go. Something to listen to. This is the EDM tracks that I use for demos. So we're gonna play that in the background as I tear everything apart. So let's get this party started. Again, everything looks great here, except for when I look at it on the live, it's a little blurry. So hopefully that's not for everybody all the time. This is going to take everything apart. So the idea is I got to take every screw off of here, take every dial, every knob, every slider. We'll talk about shit as we're going along here because there's the PFL pre-fader level, which is absolutely an awesome feature, which would have been better if this mixer actually had a mute on every channel. Then it would make it perfect for like karaoke or any small band setup. So let's get started. There's lots of screws. There's lots of things going on. If the audio is not loud enough, let me know in the chat and I'll adjust it and hopefully get things going. Oh, look, James showed up. Like he's going, why is he doing it live 2 days in a row? I was looking for something to do and I had to test my stream out and I had to tear this part anyway. So I figured I'd do it live. So hopefully this works. By the way, you can watch this anytime. This is just for fun. And if I break it, I don't really care. That said, let me tell you a story about it as I tear it apart. I had to buy this power supply after I had the mixer. This was years ago, and I'll start tearing it apart. Now, this power supply is unique. It has a 4-pin configuration on it. And the story is, and I shall tell you that now, is that I had this mixer. I had a bunch of them that I had to import back when there was none available. I don't even know if this thing's going to work. I'm just going to rip them all off. Okay, there we go. All right, it's going to be. We'll get some rhythm. I'll just yank them off. So I sold the mixer to a gentleman who did not speak English very well. And the next day, he decides to bring it back. And without being able to speak English very well, I have to explain to him that there's a 20% restocking fee because that's basically the equivalent of renting, right? So back then he paid $169 for this thing, brings it back, and even to this day, I'm not 100% sure the why. But I decide to let him bring it back. Why? Because he's part of a group of great customers. First time he was there, but the person who brought him to the store was a guy who's brought me tens of $1,000s worth of sales. So he says, blah, 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 mixer. So the guy doesn't buy it that day, comes back, buys the next day. He just wanted something for karaoke, and this worked. Anyways, it took me so long to explain to him what a 20% restocking fee was. I forget to check inside the box to make sure that everything was there, and you didn't have the power supply. So that picture looks like shit, by the way. I'm looking at that picture. It looks so grainy. Why is it so grainy? I'm going to try and fix that here before we go any further. Yeah, I got the picture quality cranked up. I don't know why it won't go any better than that. It's me, not YouTube. So I just jacked up my picture, and there we go. It's got to be the compression rate. It's got to be shit here at my end. I'm trying to see if I can improve the compression rate any. They're not really giving me a lot of bandwidth on this video. It keeps coming and going. All right. So I'll keep pulling off buttons while I try and figure this out. So yeah, so of course I'm spending so much time trying to talk to this guy and explain to him what a 20% restocking fee is and how that's going to work that I completely forget to look inside the box and see that there's no power supply there. That was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. And yeah, so this thing's been kicking around. I just spent $20 or $15 to order that power supply, and I decided I'm going to tear this mixer apart anyways. I mean, I'm curious to see what's inside. And this is a dry run for me tearing apart my big giant Mackie 32 channel 8 bus mixer that is 35 plus years old. It's got some issues with it, so that one's going to be torn apart big time. Ours, as our big friend like to say, Big Lee. It's going to be a Big Lee teardown. Look at this. Progress is being made. You know what I didn't do? I forgot to take a picture of it, but I do have it on the thumbnail, so thank God I did that. You're supposed to take pictures of these things as you go. And that picture is looking shit again. Can I do anything to improve it? You know what? I hopefully don't lose the whole signal. I'm going to swap out my internet and see if I click and change my actual stream, if it's going to work any better, which won't lose the picture. It'll just blink out for a second as it changes Wi-Fi. Let's check what our upstream is. Bear with me. We're going to keep going here. I'm just going to do an upstream, do an actual stream test here. Speed test, please. I'm actually going to speed test while streaming. So now, remember, I pay for a shitload of internet, so it should be just fine. So of course, the up is at 100 megabytes per second, which is like fine. But it's like it knows it's doing a test. Then that was the down. The up is even with the stream, I still got enough room to squeeze out another 20 megabytes. So why are they doing this to me? Why are they just ruining my up? There we go. Okay, well, we're gonna have to live. It's gonna have to be something going on internally here that's ruining it, and I don't know what it is. All right. So there we go. Keep finishing off, taking off the buttons, and we'll be all set. Now, what do we expect to see inside? I have no idea. I have no clue. I just know there's an awful lot. Oh my gosh. My fingers are going to regret this when I'm done. Could be worse. It could be a mixture with like 1,000 dials on it, which is going to be the next one. I'm going to have to get a different tool for that. Let's take some screws off, and then we'll get something to take all that off. And by the way, just so you know, just like you ever notice that when you're watching a home show, a TV show, and they're doing any type of construction work or whatever, they're building something, that while they're actually doing the show, people are using hand saws and screwdriver, like mechanical tools, because they can't use power tools while they're actually physically doing the show. So they actually have to cut the cameras, cut the talking, use power tools, then stop everything and use power tools again. So if I want to do this and talk to you at the same time, I'm gonna have to do this. And my phone's chirping. So I'm sure somebody is trying to tell me something. James is bragging. Yes, if I go straight to my internet, I do have a gigabyte of down. Now, the 900 up, what internet provider do you have? You got 900 up. It's like Broncos. Yeah, no, the best for some odd reason, I can only get, I can get 1 gigabyte down for the whole house, and I can get a, 30 30 megabytes up, which is fine because if you look at your streams, they're not normally, I don't stream with anything more than a regular stream is 500, 5,000. So that's only like 5 megabytes going up. So I don't I don't normally see why there's a problem though. But what are you running? So I'm sure the picture looks like shit because I keep stopping looking at the picture. Oh my god, the picture's back to looking like shit again. Oh my gosh. You know, I could have probably just done it with one stream and then that would have been it. It would have been fine. And there we go. Those screws are off. By the way, is the music actually playing on the video or not? Somebody let me know if that's actually playing. Oh, you have Sterling. Yeah, you know what? I was gonna get them. Um, but I just made an agreement a little while ago for what I have. So yeah, I was thinking of Sterling. They're offering like free hardware now and all that kind of shit. It's a little bit more than what I'm paying for now, but I would definitely get Starlink just because I want to screw it to the man because like most cable companies and it's a monopoly. And then Starlink comes along and like anybody can have Starlink. You know, it's like it's no longer a monopoly. Just you know, do as you wish with that. So there you go. Awesome. But yeah, I get Starlink just to screw the man. That's what I would do. I personally don't use the primary cell company. I use the secondary, which is owned by the primary, just so this way they don't get all my money. Forced, like they're forced to have to give a discount. So it's like, yeah, I'll take the discount. It's the same thing, except it's not 5G. It's LTE. So, which is even better because 5G only benefits the manufacturer or the cellular network company. That's why they can offer so many things on cell with 5G. Um, LTE for the same part, no worries there, except that it kind of consumes more of their actual bandwidth. So they keep trying to say, hey, you know what? Come join, come to Rogers from Fido, and we'll give you the same price. We'll give you 5G for free. And it's like, I don't care. It's not that I'm, there's anything wrong with 5G. Eventually, everything will be 5G. My whole home Wi-Fi that sucks right now is because of 5G. But it's also because it's I bought into Amazon. I have a what's it called? The Euro system. Euro, two E's, RO. I got to get. Let's keep going with the screwdriver for now. Lots of screws, by the way. Lots of screws. So we got screws going along here. We got screws down the back. Got screws everywhere. These look like they're screwed on, but that's a weird. It's almost riveted on there. Look, there's a oh. We're gonna have to break that. There's a little sticker there. It's gonna have to be broken. That's it. Warranty void as soon as I break that. Now, is this the same screw as that? No, but it's noticeably different. So it's always important to note that screws. Yeah, it's got a round and that's flat. So make sure it's in the frame. Make sure it's always in the frame. Oh boy. So I was looking into just because you get ads for stuff, and it's like I was looking at an ad for start a radio station. I'm like, oh, that could be something cool to do. That's fight DJs on to do a set on a radio station. That'd be cool. So then I couldn't figure out how to turn around and make money out of it because it's like too hard to market it. And then it's like It's internet radio. How many people are actually listening to internet radio these days? I mean, if I was doing a local thing, but then would I have that much quantity when it comes to viewership? I don't know. So I said, nah, not for today. But it sounds like a cool idea. Awesome. The picture is frozen. Why is the picture frozen? The picture's not frozen, is it? Or do they just freeze it themselves? No, that's just me. No worries there. Trying to just keep on top of the live stream here. Okay. I'm starting to make noise. There's lots of screws coming out of it. That camera a little close. There we go. Things about to fall apart here, but I didn't take any of the actual nuts off of the inserts. Okay. Oh, that's it. Safety screw is broken. All right. Plastic rivets. So that's the feet there. I ain't taking those off because I'll never get those back on. Look at that. It's one of those kind of things. That plastic fin they used in the car. So literally, I could push this out and it would come out. That's cool. Okay, I get it now. All right, we'll put that over here on the floor. What? All right. So here we go. Let's look at the backside. So here we are, backside. And yes, we got ribbons. So most mixer boards are built in modules. And that's, I'm amazed. I turned this around and I'm still seeing modules. I mean, you look at mixers from back in the old days, they're made in singles. Now, when you look at a big, oh, there we go. Let's mute that. So when you look at a mixer in the old days, you'd see like single slots in a console. Each channel would have its own slot going across the whole thing. So, you would look at this and every bank in an old mixer would have its own slot. They pull it as a tray and all the electronics would be part of that. It would lock into a board and it would all connect. This way you can pull one out, service it, replace it, whatever you have to do. So eventually they got into what Mackie invented, which was the portable console mixer, which was made out of metal and all that. It was one solid big monster of a piece. Again, I have one. We'll be showing it and using it next time I take one apart. And I got it right. That'll be like 24-hour live show. Me taking apart that mixer. But this one is built in the same concept, where the 8 bus is the mixture set up in banks of 8. So of course these two are the input channels. They're linked with a ribbon, and then the output is over here. All the actual other features, the plugs are all up at the top here, and the power modulator controller is over here. So now, for us to take some more stuff apart, we got to take these rings off. So I have to go get a tool. I'll be right back. I need to get a tool for that. So I still don't have the right tool, but this will do. I just don't feel like going an extra 5 feet to get the right tool. All right. I just need to crack the seals on these guys here, just so this way I can unscrew them. Now this mixer is all set up what we would consider standard old school. they're not using combo jacks. They're using XLR for the mic and 1/4 inch for the line inputs. So it's literally separated, which means they're not even using any electronics inside to manage the signal. So they're not measuring the impedance or the gain to decide what it's going to be. And that's why you don't have any uh, button options like what are we, basically a low high gain button here with a pad button, they would call it. So see something that cuts the signal down by 30 some odd dBs. I forget what's the magic number, 24, 30. Just gonna look over my shoulder and cheat. No, that one has it on that, so it's set up differently. So all right, look at this. Now we can. Ooh, we're spinning things here. Oh, that one not so much on the loose side. There it is. It's just yucky. Okay. All right. All right. Is this a copy of a pile? Is this a copy of a pile? No, the pile actually, I would consider the pile to be better than this. Um, I've said this many times. I mean, if Pile sent me mixtures, I would just keep reviewing them. The company that Pile partnered up with to make their mixers do an amazing job. I don't know if this is the same company or not. It absolutely does not have any style reference to that. If I was to say what style reference this has, it's more like uh, H&L Hill. What's the Hill? No, Hill. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank on that name. I'll Google it and I'll see. Yeah, it's Heath and something. Uh, Audio mixer. When you have a name in your head, you just can't get it out. So I'll just go over to I'll go over to Guitar Center. They'll have it. Now this is an older style, so it's not going to be like crazy. And there we go. And it is sold. It probably doesn't. I think that's what their styling was, but not what they are. I'm gonna see if I can't find it. A lot of the Behringers have a similar look to it, but I'm gonna say without the color pattern, it's like a Heath. Do they even have them? What's the name of them? Anyways, I have a name in my head. 2 words, starts with a H. You'll figure it out, and somebody will tell me. Alan. No, it's Alan. Alan and Heath. Okay, it starts with an A. I was close. It's an alphabet. The second word is Alan Heath. It has that kind of old school layout to it, but not made by them, of course. Just a look to it. Um, Again, like I said, the Pile mixers. Pile doesn't actually send out mixers. I was lucky enough that I was like Canada's largest dealer, bigger than Amazon when it came to selling their products. Um, and company makes 3,000 SKUs, and I sold 300 of them. And like I said, blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. That was Pile. So, and as a consumer product, it was just banger for like whatever you wanted it to do. Boy, am I going to get in there and get these? I didn't think I think this is going to be a problem. I got to get needle nose or something. I don't want to scratch it. Okay, I got to get needle nose now. Right, that sucks. All right. So it appears I left some of my tools in the rain and in a pouch, and I did not, well, take them out of the pouch and let the pouch dry out. And it appears I did that. Now, understand I've got like 10 pairs of this. And of course, this is the one I find because that was the closest one. I didn't feel like digging into tools. So now I'm going to do this without trying to damage anything. Oh, uh, what sense is there doing stuff? You just break it in the process. Remember, this thing's not broken. This is all in the word of science. I keep this up, I'll get a job at Veritasium. There you go. And there we are. Awesome. Okay. Boy. So yeah, if you missed last night's show, you missed a huge show. And can we talk about the fact that Exciton posted on their Facebook page that they say they're going to see what they can do. I mean, I'm going to assume that's about the best they can do. They said on their April stock when it comes to their next manufactured shipment. So meaning, I guess not what's in the pipe right now, but what's going to come through the factory, and see if there's anything they can do to improve it. Because as they like to say, though hiss is natural, if there's anything they can do to help improve it, they shall work on it. So maybe they watched the show last night. I don't know. They didn't say that, but hey, who knows? Maybe they did. Oh, look at that one. See, I clipped it on top, and that one's now stuck there. All right, there we go. So who knows? Who knows? So yeah, so here we are. Mixer coming apart. If anybody has any questions besides, was this from Pile? Wow. Uh, so this mixer was missing one thing. When I bought into it, I didn't buy a lot. I actually bought a few samples from this company. And then I realized, oh, this one here didn't have Bluetooth on it. And that kind of like deterred me, even though it was like, 5 years ago, I was still like, hey, 6 years now, 6 years now. Yeah, I bought this mixer when I was buying a lot from Pile. And Pile for some reason had they didn't get any stock in. Something was going on, anyways, and there was a delay. I don't know if it was logistic. I don't know if it was the time of the big C or the. So I had to buy what I could get my hands on, and yeah, I wasn't crazy about this particular brand, and it's not the brand. It was just like it was lacking the features. So that was a bit more of a problem than anything else. So I got more screws here. So, and it sounded fine, but it sat there. I didn't sell it off because I didn't have that power supply. Without the power supply, it just kind of sat around. And of course, 4 weeks ago, I spent the mucho money and spent, what was it? $15. Ordered myself a power supply. And now there's a power supply. So now I can use it. So instead of using it, I decided to tear it apart. This was brought here to do another video. And because I missed that opportunity to do that with it, didn't need it. So well, since it's here, let's make a mess. Let's tear it apart. And there we go. We're almost there. All right. Oh, let's see. Something's not apart yet. Why? Because it's not falling out. Okay. I thought, oh, that would be. Oh no, there's a whole bunch of screws holding it together. Let's turn it around. Okay. So here we go. Now we got all these screws to take apart here. Well, oh yes, and then there's the glue. Uh, James was talking about this yesterday. We were talking about that in the video yesterday. This glue is great because it doesn't let things come apart. Except they're very good at putting this glue on. They put it on this side and put it on that side. So I got to break the glue. I'm poking myself. By the way, a pretty good job with the soldering. If I was to compliment them on something, they got some good deep solder points here. It's not very shallow, which is very good. Almost like they put extra solder on it, like somebody came by and did some house cleaning on it, which is quite a common thing to do. Ow. I'm really going to poke myself pretty good with this. So let's see if I can't pry that out a bit there now without breaking it. I don't have to take it off. I know that. But it's like if you're gonna destroy something, in the name of science, you best take it all apart. There we go. Okay, there's one. Haha. I didn't break it. Let's cut the glue loose here. Try not to put myself too bad this time. Okay. There we go. Get the glue. Just need to break through that glue. It's like a little dab of hot glue. It's all it's kind of stuff there. All right. There we go. See? Next thing you know, I'll be turning apart iPhones. Bullseye. Okay. So now, screws. Hey, Rick, see you there. What did I do now? What did I do now? Something. All right. There we go. Yeah. Quite the show last night. And if you're just tuning into this one, it's just me making a mess. You know, nothing physically wrong with this mixer. I was just curious how they built mixers today. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, that was my pizza from supper. God damn. You don't do that on a live. That's nasty. So there we are. And if you're curious about any of the music that's playing, hopefully you're hearing the music because that's the important part here, right? That is all my music from Artlist, so that should be in the background. I'm assuming. I'll find out when I finish the stream. And yeah, there we go. Bear with me. There we go. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Lots of things happening. Oh, the show. Oh, oh, oh. Do I think this is like one piece going to come out? Did I get all the screws? Oh, I got all the screws, but now there's like lots of ribbons in there. Oh, yeah, we can do that without freaking everything out. There we go. Oh, look at that so far. Look at that. So now the big thing is, I don't think a company like this, I'd have to like check, but let's say, for example, Mackie, again, they're the guys who like pioneered it, to make their sliders not as long as they had to be because they wanted to make a portable unit. They created a scalable system. So when you're at the bottom of the slider, uh, you get you get a lot more increase over a short period of time because there's not a lot of difference at the bottom. And then they tighten it up. They spread it out when it gets close to the top. This allowed them to get away from having a 4 or 6 inch slider. Uh, these are the same screws again, right? Right. No, I'm now confusing more screws in here. God damn it. Boy, that's going to be a lot of screws I have to sort out afterwards. So these screws are not pointy Phillips. They aren't wood screws. These are like that, which are not exactly the same as what's already in the bucket, but they look really close. So bucket's got a lot of options in it now. I could have separated that. That would have been easier, but I didn't. So that means I'm going to have to sort them all through afterwards. And there we are. There we are. And video. And boom, boom, boom. Did we get everything here? I don't know. All right. Whoa, there we go. So now these two were the actual channels. So that's what we got out of here so far. These two here are the channels. So these are the ones with the sliders on them. The last one's going to be the output channels, which is all here. So this is how, they break up modules. Like, I'm sure if I was to go back and look at this company's catalog, they would have this exact mixer with just these two controllers, like one bank, right? Like 4 channels plus the output. And if I was to buy one that had, it was a 12 instead of an 8, guess what? It would have one more bank and it'd be just 3 wide. It's amazing though how they've narrowed it down to just this. Like everything is just this now. Such a little amount of things going on. And it repeats itself over 4 times over again. Now remember, on here, each channel, you've got gain controls for your high, mids, and lows. You've got fader balance controls. I mean, what's going on each individual line is all done in this tiny little chip right here. Everything. I mean, do we see any more on the other side? I don't know. We got a couple of capacitors here. Capacitors here. That's pretty much it. A resistor here. All right. And still the same screw? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's like, oh man. See this one here? It's got a red ring around it. That means that the screw is coming down on stuff. I better take a picture of that or I'll forget. It says there. When in doubt, take a picture. Don't forget about that. There you go. Best instructions I'll ever give you is take a picture of your shit when you're going along. Because that'll teach you an awful lot about how you screwed it up when you put it together. A rusty pair of needle nose. Oh boy, that's awfully nice. People will take you serious if they start watching a video and they see a rusty pair of these guys. Needle nose in the picture. All right. So, by the way, can anybody comment on if they're hearing the music, and if they are, what do they think of the song that's playing now? And yeah, as James said, it's an awfully quiet chat today. This is like one of those Zen moments. All right. So basically, this had no screws in it, so which tells me that this was pretty much held together by all the nuts that were on the other side and all the screws. So there we are. Wow. Ah, there you go. Thanks, Guy. You can hear it. I appreciate it. Oh, you can't hear it. You can't hear it. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna be quiet here and see if this is coming across. It should be there. I'm gonna be quiet. I get it. I get it. I see what's going on. Okay. Yeah. Shoot. You're only hearing the microphone. Oh boy. There you go. Can't mess with it. This is one thing that's once you start playing it, it sucks. It's there. It's like it's in there. Oh man. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, that's there. All right. Headphones, microphone. Can I? No, it won't. It won't switch off. All right. Oh, sorry guys. I just realized I screwed that up. Okay, I thought I was leaving music playing in the background, and it ain't playing because it ain't connected right. All right, we can fix that. No problem. Okay, I'm gonna fix this. Let's flip the camera here first of all. All right, we can fix this. No, yes, yes, no. We'll try. Okay. And then, yeah, I shouldn't have used Riverside. Would have been better for this particular show. No, we're not stopping that. I'm just going to pause here. Okay. Okay. We'll see if there's any audio. It should be working now. I mean, it's just background music, right? Okay. Don't nail that on anymore. So here we are. What are we up to? Oh, man, we are up to this right here. Let's flip back. You can tell the camera up there. Whammo. So what do you mean you might only have one channel on a preamps 462? Because it's a 462, I think you only have one bank inside yours. Yeah, possible. I would think so for a PMX 462. So here we go. Now we're really messing it up. We're going to take this power supply off. I don't think I'm going to, we're going to see. They put, well, we got a screw there. Get rid of the screw before I lose it. Yeah. I'm curious what this is for, because it is a controller. I'm going to see that, and as soon as I get the last 4 screws off, I'll be able to see what it says on the front side. All right. Now it's, oh, I know what this is. This is the silly little, this is the actual audio interface for the whole thing. That's exactly what this is. This is the MP3 player and audio interface for the whole thing. So why does it have that little thing down there? I had thought that was for the Bluetooth. Does it have Bluetooth on it and I just don't know about it? I don't know. I don't think so. There we go. Put that in there. And yeah, we're going to have to unplug some stuff here. I'm going to have to turn this over. We'll unplug that from there. We'll peel this out of here. Oh, look at that. There, it's impressive because the whole thing, all the pins are made out of metal. Like this whole thing is punched and then electronically CNC, laser cut, or however they did it. Got the whole thing done. Then all these got spot welded in there. Very good. I'm not going to take this off because I know I'm going to break it. So I can't get the switch out without pushing hard against the plastic connector, which will then cause damage. Same thing here with the power plug. So we're not going to take that off. So that's what we're looking at. That's there. So let's have a closer look at what we get from the front side. Put it down this way so we can actually map it with what's going on. There we go. So if we got any trivia questions, so here we go. Electronically, amazing, right? I mean, everything just chases right back up here. I mean, it just goes right back to the main ribbons, jumps across to the top board, and right back to where it is. So this seems to be a generic piece. Now this one here, it actually says the ELM80S USB AI. You wonder, if you look inside stuff, you see this in something else. Because that, I don't think, is the model of this guy, is it? Is that the model of this guy? You'd think they put the model number down somewhere. I know it's on the box. It's literally, could you believe that? They did not put the model number anywhere on the mixer. The brand is on the mixer, but the model is not. Check the sides. Check the front. Why would they silk screen the front? No. No. That's it. Let's turn this bad boy around. First, this camera set up this way, so there we are. What? Here we go. All right. Not a heck of a lot going on. I mean, everything's exactly the same. Can you imagine the machinery that just goes to like just pound these things out in such quantity? These guys have little extenders to get the actual LEDs in the right spot. They have little tube extenders on the whole thing going up. So let's see. This one's soldered in there. That's a pin jump. That's not going to come off that side. It might come off the other side. Yeah, we can get them off the other side. So purposely, one end they're soldered in, the other end they're actually, it's a plug. So I can unplug them from one side, but not the other. So the ribbons were kind of like soldered into the place. So on this side here, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's take a closer look. So these are the actual channel controls for all the outputs, everything coming out of it. So the effects, the volume, the line, main lines coming out, all the adjustments are all here. But yeah, it's this cool little thing they do up here where they solder the ribbon in on the one side and they give it a plug on the other side and they go back and forth that way. So this way it's easier to jump across. But there you are. This is what I wanted to show you. Every LED that's here, which is all the way at the very top, they put a plastic tube. And so just think about it. That's somebody's job to get the plastic tube in there and then position this all in the place. Again, crazy little thing. And like I said, I'm not going to, for something that, again, what's the quality of a mixer on Amazon? Well, there's a perfect example. I'm not crazy upset about it. The soldering jobs are very, very nice. And it even looks like it went through. There's usually a spotter. And now that's a good factory if you have a spotter. A spotter is basically the machine does all the soldering work. It comes out the other end. And then there's somebody who examines it. If you've ever watched a factory video, somebody who examines it and may sit there with a soldering and then re-hit certain points a second time. So this way they have that extra solder on where they need it. So anything that's going to need that extra little bit of stiffness or, more tension in it, or anything that may not have gotten enough solder, we get hit again. Look at all these actual, I'm assuming these are all little resistors, micro circuits here, all soldered in. That's crazy how they get that all in there. Anyways, I'm always impressed by how small things keep getting and how this whole board can be made this side. Like, I mean, look at it, it's all gapping just for us. Why? Because we got big chunky fingers and these fingers have to get in there and move all that. So all this needs all that extra space. So very, very impressive. Lots of caps. So this is what's controlling it from making some shitty sounds. That's for sure. So yeah, all right. Very impressive. I mean, I trust me. I'm sure if you go out and spend 10 times more money, it's going to be even more impressive. And you buy a digital one. Now, a digital one, just think about it. You remove a lot of the extra hardware. And then it's just basically a processor that sucks it all up, tosses it into a network. Here we go. Just keep taking it apart, right? And that's why we're here. We came here to see, in the name of science. There we go. Now, again, this is a rinse and repeat product. See, 4 channels. This is interchangeable with this one. I bet you if I look, the model number will be exactly the same. Yeah. This is the ELM40SB. ELM40SB. So exactly the same. Exactly the same. Hey, Sam. What's cooking? Yeah, just tearing apart a mixer just for, I was going to do it, so I figured I'd throw the cameras on and have it done. I was just tearing it apart because I felt like it. And then I was going to put it back together again, so I figured I'll start by tearing it apart first. So oh, this one, they put glue. Now, see, no glue on any of these. There's no glue on these two. It's like the person ran out of time. It's like they had only a certain amount of time with the product and the glue gun. And then their job was like, okay, my job, okay, conveyor belts moved. I can't glue it anymore. Now, yeah, so 2 of them have glue, and I'm going to get that glue. This is how you break things. You know, you get down to the last few plugs, take off, and it's like, oh, no, screwed that one up. Okay, oh, there we go. Last one right there. You know, maybe I shouldn't be doing it on top of the front plate, but you know what? I mean, I'm going to put this back together again, and I have complete confidence that I'm not going to screw it up, and it'll be a rental. So if somebody needs a mixer for something, this will be one of those, you know, 2-day minimum, $10 a day mixers, part of a package, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, that's on pretty freaking tight. Come on. Didn't go this far to stop the last one, eh? All right, making some progress. Oh yeah, did that, and look at that, no blood at all. Not bleeding from any part of my hands. Didn't poke it or anything. God, these are 57-year-old hands. You don't want to damage them too much, because every time they damage, they don't come back the same. You gotta keep them looking good. All right. So this, they're calling this, now for some particular reason, they're calling this the ELM80S USB AI. AI, what? AI, really? What's that for? I mean, there was time 5 years ago. So I doubt that AI means what we think it means. But, oh, USB. So, yeah, I guess I can, yes, it's got a USB audio interface. But see, this isn't even connected. You would think, oh, because it has it on board. That's why. It's on board. All right, so that means if I flip this over, we're probably going to see a chip on the backside. No, no chip there. Is that it? Is it? No, it's got to be. Come on. Oh, the chips are hiding back there. Okay, so the chips are on that backside. So this tiny little processor here takes care of all the audio and all the audio interface portion of it. So if I stick a USB stick in here and I just play MP3s, happens there. If I plug it in my computer, it all happens there. So very, very neato that's all on this particular board, which means you can probably get a better one, because the only thing that's left here, these cables are carrying the audio, an unbalanced audio signal, which is why it's paired off probably with the RCA cables here, and it carries power for this guy here. And that's it. Easy as that. And that's as far as you can tear this thing apart. That's as many pieces as this thing comes apart. Very neat. All right. So, and I did that. Then get it back together again in just as much time. So there we go. So that was part 1 of this video. Part 2 of this video will be reassembly. I should take a picture of that, because that's a very neat thumbnail, isn't it? All right. So if you wonder how I figure out how things work and how things can mechanically cause a problem or not cause a problem, this is how you do it. You tear it apart, you see how it's made, you see what it's mechanically set up. Like, this is how I would know how these channels would get clean or dirty, and if it would be possible, because generically a whole bunch of them will be the same as this. This is always what my biggest worry is these guys getting scratchy and staticky over time. Again, this is a test flight for me doing my 32 channel 35-plus-year-old Mackie 32 8-bus mixer, the original portable mixer. It hasn't come apart because there's a whole bunch of channels not working on it. So that's what the big cause and effect is here today. And yeah, it's not rocket science. Okay, it's a little bit of rocket science, you know, because if this was the 1960s, this would be rocket science. And it ain't today. They couldn't even build stuff this small back then, and this is huge. So it's amazing how they repeat the same controller over and over and over again. I'm curious if, let's get this orientated the right way, if there's any difference between some of them. So for example, for example, yes, let's make a lot of noise here. So let's go up the line here, because this is what we're going to see. Gain, okay? Gain is proportionate. It starts at a certain amount and goes all the way through. And they add resistors into it to actually give its purpose in life. So its purpose is determined by the actual capacitor and the resistors that are here. So this way, this can serve a purpose, a specific purpose, in which case, as I increase and decrease, I'm increasing and decreasing the gain on the whole system, just like that. Now, the next three have to deal with freedom. So that needs a little bit more than what I'm seeing here. So I'm going to assume if I turn around, yes, right there, this little chip controls frequency for those three. So they separated the high, mids, and lows. And basically, this determines what the gain is going to be, the sweep. And it's also going to determine where the frequency is set. So this happens to be one of those mixers that doesn't have a mid or low or high secondary adjustment, which allows me to flatten out gain control. So when I turn it up and turn down, it comes on a larger sweep, the whole thing, or does it just work on a tight low frequency? If you have a digital mixer, you know what I'm talking about, where you pull down just on one particular part and it just pulls that and leaves everything else, or does it respond in a large fashion? This is all pre-programmed in that little chip. That's why we have one chip per, and that's why it's located here and not at the top. So that's just for these guys here. After that, we get our aux control, which is basically a gain control for volume. So again, there'll be a capacitor on that one right there, that little cap, and that allows me to control the aux output. This is where I would normally plug subwoofers in or a stage monitor. That's what the aux is being used for. The next one's effects. Now the effects also has capacitors on them right here, and again, because we're just proportionally increasing and decreasing the gain of this channel coming out of this guy through the effects. So it is literally a looped system. So the more I feed it in, the more it gets trapped and then pushed back out. And it comes back in here. It should come back in here. Let me take a look. It should be a little different than the other guys. And yes, it is right there. Okay, so it sends and receives the signal back from the effects processor, which is located on this guy here. There's the effects processor, by the way. See that guy right there? That's the effects. This mixer only has one set of effects for the whole mixer, and it's done right there in that chip there. If this had two, there'd be having to have two of those. And if there was one on each one, well, then there'd be one of those on every single bank, which would be cool, but I've never seen that except in a digital mixer, where again, that's done electronically and it's not even on a board. So there's your effects. That's why you only get one, because there's only one chip for the whole board. Send and return to the effects. Pan, literally a left and right panning option. That's all we're doing here. Nothing more complicated than that. And though for some really odd reason, electronics wise, I guess it's just for, they have to manage the way the back of the board is, because that's where all the actual soldering and wire connections are done, are on the back. Because see, the cap for the panning option is down here, but for the next channel it's up here. So it really has to do with how they have to manage, because remember, these two are side by side as well. So that makes a lot of sense. Up here they were all separate, but by the time they get down here, no, they kind of do some funky stuff. But again, I wonder if that's computer managed, that this a program just decides how this is all going to look. I'm really curious how that is. I know today AI would basically take this over as a task, but I wonder if that was normally a thing. Like, you pick how this is going to be, you choose the wiring diagram, and it just makes that happen. It figures it out. Probably does. So there you go. So that's how that works. Okay, let's make some more noise there, because I'm sure that comes across the mic really well. No, actually, I changed the way the music is, by the way. The music are literally coming out of my MLS 1000s, not the actual computer anymore. I had to change that, because again, this has to do with Riverside, and once I'm running my actual streaming program, I can't change it on the fly. So I had to change the way I have it. Is the music too loud? I hope it's not too loud, because the idea is for you to be able to hear me. versus everything else. So here we are. We did talk a bit about this. This is all the output controls. So this is where our main, let me put this away because that's just a repeat of the other one. There's no difference there. So now we're looking here. Remember the LEDs were all jacked up, which is very cool. And to make the LEDs flash in the right succession, they have these two little chips that run the whole length. Those controllers right there, they're going to run the whole length up the side, and there to this way, as the signal increases intensity, it moves up. It allows current to flow through each one individually and making the lights go on. They have one for the left bank and one for the right bank. And these are neat stuff. I do like that kind of stuff. Now, what's that button for? Phantom power right there, which that's why there was a power plug. There was a plug plugged in right here beside it, because that's basically a mechanical switch. You're turning on and off the phantom power for everything inside. And then we had our phono headphones. Then we had our MP3 right here. All right. So this guy got controlled right here, which I'm not a big super fan of. And then we get down to our send return options, which are here. Send return is so this way, if you want to add anything in the mix, you can add it in the mix at one last shot. So on this board here, they have a send return option here, which basically allows you to take, it bypasses the effects. So that's why it's always located close to the effects options. So this way, instead of using the effects that are on board, I can use a processor that's external, that sort of thing, or an effects box externally. There it is. Also an option number 2 for sending out, let's say, a subwoofer or another monitor if you want, using the send option. So I can use my aux. Where is the aux? So they have aux here. So normally if I see aux there, do they only FFF send? Oh, so they have a send here. So I'm going to assume horribly labeled because they went very technical. So the effects are here. So that's the effects send here. So if you didn't use the effects and you just want to use the effects send, does it even have an option? Probably not. They didn't wire this. Got a send return plug on top. That's it. All right. So you only get one send option. You get one return option. So there you go. You only have the aux as the option to send and return through. And yeah, that's a slider here. Oh, that's a pin control. I'm just reading the last of it, seeing if there's anything amazing or incredible that we should like point out. But again, the more you look at it, the more you study it, the more you go, okay, I get it. And there you go. That's everything I got. Top, nothing fancy going on. Again, this is the one thing that always gets me. It's all buried inside of here. It's all the caps that are here inside them all. It's determining what the gain levels are going to be on this. There's a resistor. There's a bit of electronics soldered to the board. A couple of resistors on the top and a couple of capacitors, caps soldered along the whole thing. And that is going to make the decision on the preset gain levels for these guys to be happy, so they don't explode. Okay, exploding is a bad word. It's very loud or not loud enough. And what I'm checking here is I'm flipping it over and I'm comparing where my 3-pin XLRs are soldered. All right, there's a sample. 3 pins XLRs are there. So those are my XLR connections. And what I'm checking to see is it truly a balanced connection? Because I want to know if this XLR 1/4 inch is balanced. I'm looking inside. I'm looking underneath. I see 3 pins. One, two, three. Okay. So there's my balanced XLR connection, and there's my balanced 1/4 inch connection right there. And which ones are sharing which ones? So let's see if we can't figure out how much is sharing one connection. We're going 1, 2, 3. That guy comes up here, goes to this guy right here. So this XLR pin and that 1/4 inch pin are connected. This 1/4 inch pin is not connected to anything else but itself, but it is connected to a resistor. There's a resistor soldered right through here, and then that resistor comes back in and goes up to this guy. Okay, we see that. Then over here, again, it's not connected to anything. That's the third pin for the 1/4 inch. Again, connected to a resistor, I'm going to assume. I'm going to look underneath there. It's so hard because they're buried under there. Yeah, another resistor. So that's for your balance, unbalanced. That's for your balance connection. That's what's going on there. So that's a whole nother video. We've talked about that before. And then our XLR connections here. So again, this one here comes up to another resistor, which means this one's got to be to another resistor here. And a capacitor. So very impressive. Lots of little things going on there. So there you go. So it is a balanced XLR and a balanced 1/4 inch connection based on the electrons. Confirmed. All right. I have now been educated. And is there anything else that we're missing? No? How does the 48 volt work? Wow. That does not do that, does it? Okay. So the big strap up here doing something. So this is the main something. And something got soldered down the whole line. There's diodes listed right here. There's like 3 diodes, and I'm trying to figure out what the diodes listed all the way around. I'm going to say the diode. I get why the diodes are here. Let's look back here. Okay, so the diodes are for the actual 48 volt for the phantom power. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right. So for the phantom power, they put 1 diode in each one. And that's to stop it from making the popping sound when you plug and unplug things into the actual unit. So at least they have that. Diodes are very handy for getting rid of actual background noise. So if you're looking at something to get rid of background noise, like the popping sound, when you engage or disengage power, diodes will do that for you. So there you go. Problems thought about and solved. Let's put this bad boy back together again. Why is there an amp? Why is there an amp here? There's an amp chip right here. It's awfully close to this guy. So I'm going to flip that over. Why is there an amp? Again, it's how you learn how things work, is by, once you know what these little things do, then it's just like asking the why. Why is it right there? And everything's in proximity. So if I turn this around, I'm going to see that my amp is here, tiny little amp. And I notice that comes around here and it feeds into all. All right. Da, 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 da. And see, I thought the amp would have something to do with that. But yeah, okay. All right. So it's there. There's 1. There's 2. Yeah. Okay. Confirmed. So this amp here is a preamp adjustment for the actual USB audio interface that's built into this guy and the USB MP3 player. That's the preamp to jack it up, to get it up so this way you can run into the board where the RCAs are. Ta-da! So you need a tiny little preamp amplifier, which is right there, to make this guy, the actual USB, turn into an actual workable amplifier so it can run on a preamp. Oh my gosh, we learned so much today. Until you look at that, you don't realize it. Oh yeah, that's, I guess, what's needed for that to work. Okay. Now comes the fun part. I got to put it back together again. All right, so I did unplug all these things. So I did that before. So let's put this aside for a second and get all the ribbons back together. Okay. We're gonna plug these guys in on the top first. Let's put the right one in the right finagling spot. Okay, glue, glue. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Plug that in after when we turn it around. All right. There we go. Then I'll go into the last one. Okay. Look at that. Plug that in there. Plug that one in there. All right. I'm gonna get this all back together. Okay. All right. Okay. I can see why they went out of their way to glue this. Because the glue would stop it from settling away, like pushing away once it's actually in place. Because, you know, there we go. And so my next live show, just to give you an idea of what's going to happen in the next live show that I'm doing, is I'm actually playing around with an experiment, which is to visually bring you sound waves. Yes, I said visually bringing you sound waves. I am going to run some tests tomorrow on a platform that is going to have a speaker under it, and as I change the frequency, it's going to show you what the actual sound wave looks like on top. Visually, I'm going to figure it out tomorrow, so this way I have a show for tomorrow. Awesome. Okay. Look at that. Technically speaking, I can just plug it in and use it as is, I guess. It'd be a little hard to control, but it would be cool, right? It's not that sexy to have it in a glass case, though. That would just, you know, yuck. Anyways, so let's make sure we have everything plugged in here before I spin it around. Looks like it. What I will have to do here is I will have to plug this in here somewhere. Where did this go? This went somewhere. This went somewhere. I lost where this went. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. It was there it is. It was up there. Okay. Turn around so I can see it, and I'll turn it back. Oh yeah, there we are. Okay. Get these guys all straight again. Do they have an orientation? No, just like that. Okay. Okay. So you know, be so mean to it now that I'm putting it back together again. I guess I'm gonna have to put something under here to guide it along a little bit. Let's see if we can't get that all in there. Okay, because now I'm actually gonna figure out the darn screws. Oh, this is gonna be the best part right here. Should have separated this as I was putting away, because now I'm gonna pay the price now. I want that. I want that. Remember, there was one that had, if you were here since I tore it apart, there was one that had a red piece on it. I have to look at the picture and find that one first to make sure I don't screw that one up. Oh, great. There's different lengths. Oh, no, that's deeper. Okay. All right. Yeah, there's like 4 different screws. 3 different screws. They all look similar, but they're not. You know, yeah, no, that's a good one. I'm just going to have to start separating them, aren't I? That goes there. That goes there. Should have done this in the first place. If you ever wonder, how does a guy... Let's get these separated. Okay, these 2 go here. That one goes there. That one goes there. Okay. And then... Okay. How not to separate your screws. That's what this video is all about. Excellent. So technically speaking, I mean, I could put it together off camera, but then it would be like, no, he just went and got a second one. He threw that first one in the garbage. No. I'm going to finish what I started, because no matter what, I'm going to finish what I started. So I might as well keep the camera running so y'all can get a hoot out of how much extra work I give myself, just because, by the way, I have like tons of these containers. I could easily put 3 more out here and did this ahead of time. You know, I feel like I'm going to regret putting these screws right here next to where I'm working. You know, something's going to end up on the floor. That goes there. That goes there. That all goes there. Okay, we're getting there. So I put some down. Grab that, put that there. Put that there. And then, there we go. See, we're making progress. Making progress. All this means is it's going to take me all this time just to put all these screws back in. Not so hard. Not so hard. Excellent. Put that there. Put that there. And then we do that. Making amazing progress. Look at this. Okay. The last of. Excellent. There we go. Okay. Now I can actually physically put this back together again rather quickly here. Oh, watch this go together now, eh? Now we know what we're doing. Excellent. This is the right spot, yeah. Nothing beats a magnetic screwdriver, eh? I tell you. Linus. That's a regular old-fashioned screwdriver bought from Canadian Tire. Linus Tech Tips here. Not saying I wouldn't be like happy if I had one, but it's just one of those fancy screwdrivers you just end up losing the pieces in anyways. Oh yeah. So it's just gonna be all bogged down here with something not right here. Wonder where all those cables were. They seem to be happy to go right there, right? I mean, but I don't think that's right. I know this has to go across the top here. And then chicken fried rice, please. Thank you very much. Maybe a couple of egg rolls with that. Let's take a better look at this. Let's try and maneuver this in by hand. Look at that. Oh, we got that in place. Look at that. That was pretty simple, eh? All right, you know what we're going to do before we go crazy with screwing everything else in? Let's just get this so it doesn't move anymore, okay? Because now that our hands are on it, we can probably just put this together. Simple enough. We'll just put a couple of screws in here and there. There we go. Let's get this all lined up. There we are. Nice in place. Let's do this. 4 screws across the top here. I'm sure this is not how they assembled it at the factory. I'm just feeling that, just pull this off. We can get this going. Yeah, look at that. Only takes a couple of screws to get the whole thing together, eh? I'm sure once I finish putting in the last screw in, I can leave it as is. That's it. All right. There you go. If you want an e-bike on Amazon, that would be good enough. Whole thing be done. Ship it as is. Sad to say, got offered another e-bike for review for my Amazon channel, and I'm just waiting for them to tell me, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't realize you were in Canada. I tell you, if I was in the States, I'd own like 6 e-bikes by now, all courtesies of those guys. And I really need to get myself a summer home down in Florida or Houston or something. Galveston would be nice, eh? Galveston would be bad. I'd be happy with that. Go down there for 3 months out of the year, review all these extra pieces. Maybe I should just tell them to send it over to James's house, and then I'll, review them there at some point. Pays to do 1,000 reviews on Amazon. Let's see, I don't even have to fetch them anymore. Just go grab screw. Now, I'm just tacking it down so this way I can get all the parts, and I know that I'm not upset with the way it's all coming together here. It seems like the parts are all falling into place. I'll spin it around, make sure that everything's sitting in the right place. Just a handful of screws on each one. Yep. That's the grounding screw, by the way, if anybody's curious where the grounding screw is. It's right there. And yeah, there was a spot. Let's go find it. I think it's this guy right here that I kind of ruined by doing this. I think this screw, of all screws to put on the board, I think this was the one that had the red ring behind it. We shall double check. It's upside. If you're watching it from the beginning, crazy enough to watch the. It's in. I put it back together upside down. So let's just pull the camera here. Yep, that was it. That's the one right there. See, that's why you take a picture of things, right? So you can do that with it afterwards. Okay. No questioning it there. Just to make sure that it didn't ground out or short anything out. All right. Let's take a quick look here. All right. Everything's where it's supposed to be. Nothing's jammed up. Everything's free. All right. Let's throw a bunch of screws in there real quick and make this happen. We're making some serious progress here. I'll grab a bunch of screws here. Yes, thank you very much. All right. Let's put this all back together real quick. I'm gonna throw some screws in here. I do appreciate everybody for watching, by the way. I do. I say thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, by the way, this would be a funny time to do it. You can say I subscribed while he was reassembling his analog audio mixer. That is devotion and dedication to this channel. So 100,000 subscribers. I'd go for 1 million, but I'll be happy with 100,000. Right now, we're just trying to hit that magic mark of thank you very much. I made it to 50. You know what? I don't do shorts. So I am not as fortunate as Aaron. He's had a one short video I was looking at today for like the 4th time it's come up on my feed. Guys had 2.3 million views. Half his views for his entire channel has come from one short video. You can certainly thank Grandma for dancing in that video because he played a little Elvis music and she started dancing, and it was a very heart-tugging video, and because of that it's got everybody. So it's like it's what YouTube likes to share, a happy joy video. And 2.3 million views, and probably a bulk of his subscribers too. Good for him for getting there, because he just popped over 50,000 subs with that. I was looking at his numbers, I couldn't believe it. I went, how did the guy get 23,000 subs in a month, but he only got twice as many views as I did? That's just incredible. But he's putting out a little bit more, I don't know, funny videos than me putting a mixer together. This will be like, oh yeah, that guy's definitely the geek guy with the assembly. You can't say you didn't learn anything though. You learned that if you're going to take apart a mixer, get many more trays to hold all your parts in. Now I know that I have holes that still need screws because I still have screws in my hand. So now comes the search the board for the holes. And hopefully we end up with enough screws to fill in all the holes, and we find all the holes for all the screws I have. Just think about all the music that I've been playing. I've been playing music solid, different songs solid since this show started. Now, I just went over to get more screws. I don't have any more screws. Does that mean I have no more holes? Okay, so done. 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 No more screws that go on this side. No more holes. I didn't lose any. That all worked out really well. Okay. Well, that there was very exciting. And look, I did that all while keeping my rusty needle nose right next to me. That's a tetanus shot waiting to happen right there, eh? All right. Let's put the screws across the top here, and then we'll put the nuts on. Then we'll put this in. So look, I told you things are going real fast now. Excellent. Progress is being made. Excellent. There we are. Corpus Christi, yes. I don't want to live anywhere near Houston, including Galveston. That's funny. Corpus Christi, yeah. When I was a kid, see, I don't know if you know that. When I was a kid, when I was 12 years old and then 14 years old, I spent the summer in Houston. I was actually there in the 80s during Hurricane Elsa. Hurricane Elsa. Yeah. And yeah. My brother lived in Harris County in one of these ranch style houses that was elevated because the street turned into a bayou. It fed the bayou that was like 2 blocks away. And when it would rain every day at between 2 and 3 in the afternoon in the summertime, because it like rained every day, piss poured rain for like 20 minutes every day. And it was like, man, I couldn't believe it. And here I am, a kid, and this was like normal. We just stop, stand in the rain, and that would be it'd be over. And yeah, that was like super awesome. It was 80s, so it's like a bunch of us. We'd go down to this private, public pool. I say private because unlike a big city, the public pool only had like 10 kids there, and you had your own hot tub, which was kind of funny now that I think about it, diving board and all that. Like it was 8 kids. So we were just like, we owned the place. But it was like awesome. But yeah, I guess times change, But it was one of these, from the street, you didn't see the front of the houses. All you saw was a brick wall on both sides, garage doors, and a gate that got you behind a brick wall to the house, which even to this day is just kind of impressed to think about how that community was. But I guess that's pretty common if you lived around there. So, but yeah. That's funny. Galveston's only province in proximity to Houston. There you go. That's funny. Yeah. No, at the end, my brother ended up living. He moved back to Toronto, but he was over. He had moved from there to Santa Fe. I think is where he went. I think that's right. And my brother, by the way, passed away, but he's like 17 years older than me. So, anyways, yeah, so he moved here, back up here in the 90s, and then he moved back down there 3-4 years later. Couldn't take it up here. He wanted to go back into the heat, and then he went back down there, and that's where he stayed. Oh, we're not done yet, but yeah, it was fun. It was cool. People drove around in pickup trucks back when you actually drove pickup trucks because you worked with your truck. There was lots of that going on, and they all had gun racks in the back of them, which was like for a kid from Montreal, pretty freaked out. Kind of like, Why does everybody have a gun? Like everybody had a gun rack in their pickup truck. I think that was the sole purpose of having a pickup truck, was so this way you can have a gun rack in the back of it. Yeah, and there was a sign. You used to go to a restaurant, and you know these things again. You remember these things. Let's go to a restaurant called Texas Tumbleweed, and there was a sign outside. It said, "Please leave your guns in your car." Like, you know, just basically, just to make sure people don't accidentally, you know, do something. I guess it's like, you know, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that or Florida. I don't mind Florida too much. But of course, I only go down to Florida to, you know, for holidays. So it's like, you know, I go down for 2 weeks and then, you know, I'm the tourist that comes in and goes out. It's been a while though. So like it was last time before COVID. So it's been a while. We used to travel a lot more than we do now. Anyways, but yeah. Look at the progress. We're just flying through here now. By the way, you're hearing like the greatest hits of every YouTube video soundtrack. Again, I downloaded literally 100 of these because as long as I haven't downloaded, I don't get a copy strike on them because that means the royalties have been paid. My gosh. There we go. Not to mention, if I was a little further, if I was south of here, I'd be able to do shit outside in the wintertime because there wouldn't be snow. It's like, you know, you watch James do a video outside. Why do they freeze their ass? I know, like, it's not cold for me, but it must be cold for them to be outside doing a video in their backyard. Excellent. There we go. Now I'm gonna have to go back and make sure they're all about as down as they're gonna get. Give them a quarter turn, just to pretend that we made them a little tighter than they are, because they do need to be a little bit. I don't want to break them, so you don't ever want to do this to the point that normally I use a socket wrench to just do it by hand with a socket wrench, but I didn't get that ahead of time, so we're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way. Good thing there's a washer underneath it, because I'm skating on top of the washer, so I'm not scratching the actual metal. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And here we go. Making some progress here. Oh yeah, look at that, eh? All right. Oh yeah, we got to tighten these up. That's why we have the that's why we have my tetanus certified needle nose pliers here today. There we go. So remember, you're looking for snug. You're not trying to kill it, or else you're just going to crack something on the inside of it. That's for sure. So there we go. Again, if I have a socket wrench, I normally just drop socket on it and I get it hand tight, right? So this way, that's perfect. That's perfect amount of tight twist that you put on it. Once I get the last one, because we're so close together, I come back to the first one. I check to make sure that by just making one tighter, I didn't make the other one looser. Nope, that's good. Okay, tighten up the last one for the headphone. Oops, that's how you could scratch it, but I didn't. Oh, okay. These are all screws. Put the metal plate together. Let's put all the buttons on it first. All right. Let's just do this. So we only do that once. Now there is a problem with this. The sliders, I know where they go. Line up all the sliders just to see, because there's going to be a different color one. So I'm assuming the different color one's going to be for the effects. Yes. And we got 2 red ones, and 2 red ones are going to go there. And all the white ones are going to go on this side. And No other weird color. All right, let's make it happen. Wow. You make a video comparing a pair of Harbinger MLS 1000s speakers to a pair of 4412s or 4415s. The pair I bought, amazing, but now wondering if I should have gone with the Collins. Well, how, Rick, how are you using the speakers? I forget. I know the speakers you got are amazing. By the way, I was right? We never finished that conversation we were having the other week about you winning. Was it a speaker you won on Aaron's channel? Fill me in on the gaps on that one. I'll give you a second because it takes a while for what I say for that to catch up with you. And for the column arrays, if you're using a more quiet situation or, you know, in a close-up situation where volume isn't your key component, then I like column arrays, that's for sure. Column arrays always do well. You're never going to get the amount of energy, the amount of feel or power that you get out of the 4415s or 4412s, that's for sure. So this is, again, a good reason why you take a picture of things, because now I know what the color code was for the actual, for everything. So put this here for a second, just so I can read the color code. We'll get one step, and then we can do all the rest, because, you know, I don't want to have to do the math here for no good reason. So it starts with, from the bottom to the top. Bottom is black. We're going to have to get everything lined up in the same direction so I can line them all up and know what I'm doing here. There we go. Black, and then we've got orange. These all have only one orientation. They all got to get lined up. Orange. Then we got a gray. And then we got blue, blue, blue. And then we got a red. Red. They're using red for game. All right. And then on the other side, we got orange here. Two blues. Let's get all the oranges here. Orange, orange, orange. So everything to do with effects. I do like that, by the way, that they put orange everywhere. Unless I want it, and I don't know I want it. Did you? It wasn't you. You didn't. No, it wasn't me. Unless. So did you? Did you sign up for the contest that he had? He was giving away a speaker. Because I could have swore it was you. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's another Rick there, but I thought it was you, but maybe I was wrong. It would be sucky to find out that it was you, and that because you took so long, you gave it away to somebody else. Wouldn't that be like horrible? So red. All right, so now we're just at a point of rinse and repeat. So I was debating, oh, you know what, once I get this on, I won't put the back plate on. But you know what, I did a video once where I had, I was doing a 24 or 32 channel mixer video, and for some reason I had set all the diodes on the entire mixer 100%. Everything was right where it was supposed to be, and somehow throughout the whole video there was one slider that was off, and that one slider got so much comments from people. It's like, did anybody see that one slider out of place? So today I'm going to make sure that you know, we don't miss anything. Gotta get this on the right way. There we go. Making progress here though. Once we run out of dials, then it's literally just a bunch of screws left to put the metal plate back on. And then, you know, safety third, the whole thing will be done. And this is like the slowest game right here, eh? Haha. So Rick's using his for family parties and home use, but I like the base. Now, I'm pretty sure my suggestion originally was I liked you to get the MLS 1000s for home, because I remember that now. Now, first of all, just to, you know, not to draw attention to the word hiss gate again, how do you find the hiss in your speakers because you're using them at home? Aaron was the YouTuber, so it was Aaron who was giving away a speaker, by the way. He had the contest, but you had to sign up for it. So if you didn't sign up for it, you wouldn't have won it. But it was based on the comments. He even put the comment in the actual live stream when he announced who the winner was. Look at that. Progress is being made. It's like grab a knob and put it in somewhere. Yep. Oh, yeah. So I'm just a glutton for punishment. I actually drove by a building today and I went, oh, that's a good location for a store. Really? Really? I'm gonna try it again. And I can just go to work for my competitor or try and finagle my way into them just to do their content. So go do content maybe for Long and McQuaid or something, Canadian company. Then that'd probably be the end of my relationship with Guitar Center when it came to Harbinger, because they would want me to do everything for them. Now, I can certainly do another brand. I'm not, you know, picked on that, but because it is Canada and it is, you know, one brand's much more predominant in Canada because the big retailer here, which is the same as, let's say, Guitar Center in the States, is called Long and McQuaid here. And but their house brand, the brand they own, they actually bought a company, a speaker company in Canada called Yorkville, which is a very heavy duty commercial brand. So it's not just like a big PA brand, it's the really heavy duty commercial brand. So that's one of the few brands that actually you can buy their amps. That's the perfect example. That's one of the few places you can go on a factory tour in North America and watch this shit get built outside of Mexico, I think. I'm not sure if JBL has a factory anymore in it's on the US side of the border in California, and it's Northridge, California. I don't know if they still have a factory there or not. Okay. Look at that. See, again, this is what I was saying earlier. you know, it's like you want to make sure that this is all bent down like really good now, so it's not going anywhere. But I could have seen this when they originally manufactured this. They really wanted to make sure those were glued down so they didn't get pushed out after manufacturing. And you know, like by the time they made it to North America, it'd be like, oh fuck, what happened there? All right. Is this not exciting? We're getting to the back here. Make our way around. Little kitty corner first, just in case that, you know, one of these is off, and we just make it worse by putting all the screws on one side instead of zigzagging it, like, you know, tightening your bolts on a car. All right, so here I am. Okay. I don't remember. I don't. Okay, that's all right. Well, no. See now, you're. So Rick's going on about the hiss. So yeah, I have both of those speakers here. So just to let you know, I mean, the hiss is very low, but when you're at home, it's a difference. It's not like going out on a gig, right? I mean, at home, you can, you know, when everything's off, you're in between songs for karaoke or anything like that, or if you're just playing music and it's there a little bit. I mean, it's not going to kill you or anything, but the MLS 1000 has zero background noise to it. Like it's not there at all. So I'm just saying that's why I run the MLS 1000s all the time. That's actually what's playing right now in the background, along with my 15-inch sub right behind my chair. So, and I can have those on all the time at any volume level. And they're just smooth. Plus, they give a great stereo effect everywhere in the studio. So it doesn't matter if I'm standing in front of one of the speakers, I still hear the other speaker, which is absolutely crazy because unlike, let's say, the Exitons, all the drivers on top are straight vertical line. That's a column array. The setup inside the MLS 1000s are offset exactly like the Bose speakers are, and that is set up in a line array pattern. So there's actually a 3-speaker repeating pattern that gives you the array set up on it, which is what makes it sound so nice in a wider spread out field. So very nice, very nice. So yes, it is very exciting. And we're like coming down to the last screws. And you know what? You know, age is showing itself. You know why? Because there's no extra screws. And I didn't lose any screws while actually doing it. I mean, that's, you know, that's age. You know, if I was like 25 years old, trust me, 30 years ago, 30 plus, there'd be like extra screws left over. Be like, shit, where'd these go? Let's go right back again with the magnetic screwdriver. One of those little Amazon things. My screwdrivers weren't that magnetic anymore because again, we're talking about some fine Motormaster or Motorcraft, not Mastercraft. That was Sears. These are Canadian Tire Mastercraft screwdrivers with magnetic tips on them. Ooh. That's off camera. Let's get this right. Let's get a barrel shot right down the middle there. That is the last screw right there. That's the last one. That's all done. There you go. Now comes the big thing. Hey, look, the music stopped. You know what that means? It means I literally played through my entire downloaded list of songs. Okay, so now we're going to plug this bad boy in. There's power cord on the other side of the table. This table has 3 wide span power bars on it. So it doesn't matter where I am, there's always power on this table. If you go back and watch my videos from the very beginning, and even watch my channel, actually, I think I turned off all those videos. This table is a direct descendant of my original table from 2012, 14 years ago. It was a 4x8 table, and it has turned into my Jarvis table. If you think of Iron Man's little robot guy, this table went through 3 different stores. It used to be massive. It had carpet on top. It got upgraded to wood. Then the table got rebuilt again and cut down in size so it would fit in here. I literally put that table that weighed 250 pounds in the back of U-Haul trailers to get it from place to place. And you've seen it in all my videos that I've ever had a table in front of. It's just a little, oh, I didn't put the wings on it. Oh no, got to do that first. Let's plug it in here. It's not done yet. Come on. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. Okay. So now, so Rick's saying his only when you got on full volume. Yes, if you turn the main volume up, the master volume up really loud, you're definitely going to hear the speaker. That's why I like speakers that have a master volume, not just gain control volumes per speaker. So like a mixer does, where you actually have volume controls. You have gain controls for each of your channels on the back of the speaker, and then you have main volume controls. That means you're going to have much less of a hiss out of your speakers because you're only going to drive up your speakers to what you need them to be, not full blast all the time, which is what, a lot of speakers do. Not the Harbingers. Very good stuff there. And we're about to try this out. We powdered it up. I just, you know what? I said I wasn't going to leave this thing undone. So we're going to get this done here, and then we're almost there. We are almost there. And yeah, I'd still, it's one of those things. I would say your best setup at home, the setup you'd like go crazy for, and you'd be like absolutely blown away, is to get yourself even a secondhand subwoofer, especially if you can get your hands on one of Alto's 15-inch. Absolutely, you would die for it. I'd try and get the 15-inch, and then get the line arrays after that. Get your hands on the 15-inch first. Remember that 210s is like, it's like having the Mackie sub to go. I mean, those are double 8s in there, and that thing is just crazy for in a house. One of those is just amazing. So the power light's on, the phantom power's on, and the phantom power light. Okay, the phantom power light's there. Now the power switch is on. Why is my phantom light on? That doesn't make any sense. Why is that light on? Oh my gosh. Someone's going to have to tear this apart now. I got to figure out why that light won't go off. It's stuck on. That's going to be a problem. So there you go. Now, I'm not taking that apart tonight. But we will try it. We will try it. Cable from one of my sponsors. Let's give a shout out to one of my sponsors. If you're looking for some pretty neat XLR cables that you can get on Amazon, this is from audio-accessories.com. Now, this particular one happens to be their ones that has a fiber mesh on top of it. So it literally has, normally you see them on headphones. So nice, looks like a shoelace type material that's like braided on top of the whole thing. These things are like super incredibly strong and durable, but also they use the new XLR cable, which is higher, richer count for copper, I guess. But anyways, it's a finer material, so the whole cable is lighter, thinner, easier to work with, and they're using the Nutrix. It's getting late for me here. Connectors. So the black ones, these styles are the ones that are made in China. The fancier silver ones are made in Taiwan, and you don't normally see one in place of the other. If the cable comes from China and it's Nutrix, it'll be the black connector, and the silver one is always coming out of Taiwan. So now I just need a microphone. Yay! PGA 48 microphone. Can be used as a hammer if you want. We're going to plug that in here. And we're going to plug that in here. We still need something to plug in there. So I shall put, we're going to move that camera view around in a second, right behind me. We're going to come out of the left channel. There we go. We're going to plug that in to the speaker, which in this case is going to be an Alto 8-inch, the TS4. There we go. And it's like the most feedback orientated. I'm going to switch over the cameras this way you see how bad this is. So I couldn't make this any worse of a setup. Speakers here, microphone's here. It's still off. We're going to turn this on at 45 because that's just suicide. Okay. Line setup. All right. So there we go. Bring this up halfway. Now, did we get it right? We're going to slide this guy up. We got to get all these guys back to normal. Get that back to normal. Get that back to normal. Turn the gain up a bit. We're starting to see a signal. Starting to see a signal. Okay. We're going to turn this guy up. Oh, yeah. Look at that. We're getting better. We're getting better. Let's see if the effects work. We're going to turn the gain up a little bit here. And here we are again. And we're checking it out. And we're seeing how it's going. And where is 0? 0's here. That's 0. And we're at 0 on the mixer. We're at unity here. Everything's nice. Everything's nice. In this case, we got to go pretty hot on there for this microphone. And then we're going to turn up the speaker. And there we are. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And now we bring up the effects. No, not that one. That one. And we'll slide up the effects a bit here. This one here actually has just analog effects, but it's an infinity effect system. So I can control the repeat and the send and the delay. Oh yeah, look at that. Check it out the way I want. And if you're doing it right, you can bend it. Oh yeah, just like that. And it's all set. That's all there is to it. And there we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, by the way, it's one of those phantom things. I'm going to bring the camera back. I don't have to take it apart because I know why. I'm going to show you something here. The phantom power light has gone out. Why was it on? There's a capacitor on the phantom power. Because there's a capacitor on the phantom power, when you turn the phantom power off, the capacitor takes a while to drain out. And that whole time that's draining out, that light will stay on. So there's nothing wrong. Yay! Okay, guys. I want to say, thank you so very much. All right. Sam, I'm using the same cable. It's good. Yeah, it is good. I like those cables, but if you are, I'm serious. I mean, they were nice enough. I reached out to them through one of my programs, and they were nice enough to send me different cables, different sizes, a couple of them, and they sent me their better ones, which was very cool of them. And so, of course, it's usually found down in the description. But if you're looking for cables, usually on sale, you can buy them in Canada, in the US, and buy them in Europe. Very impressive. But yeah, there you go, XLR cables. Rick, 10-inch sub is why I don't like them. What? Yeah, but see, okay, I have to finish off this. Or, please share Yorkville. Oh yes. Uh, oh, my thoughts. Uh, I'm gonna go to Long McQuaid and make arrangements. I would love to share my thoughts. If you're looking for I can tell you this: if it's not Yorkville on the name and it's in a wood box, it's pretty much bulletproof when it comes to hardware goes. This company prides themselves on using these as rental equipment, and they rent them for so cheap because they actually have a 5-year life cycle on the rental shelf. They really have expectations. This thing's gonna be rock solid. They usually sell through their products quite fast, their rental products, but they make them tough. They're expensive, but they're very tough when it comes to equipment. So if they sound good, then they're good. There's not a problem there. But I'm not too worried about the product, which is why I don't have a problem going to their store, maybe talking to them and finding out if I can talk to the actual main guy when it comes to the Yorkville stuff and talk about it. But yeah, if you have your chance to own one or you have one, don't feel bad about it. It's pretty badass shit. So 10-inch subs are pretty good if they're in pairs. Like, most line arrays, big hang rigs have two 10s or two 12s in them. Very good for that. I can play 2 MLS and in any type of bar, restaurant, or home setting, and they don't need a subwoofer because it's proportioned to the size of the space it's going to go in. So that's really good. But I say go to the store, listen to them. Pretty awesome. Everybody who's got them, nobody complains about it. Nobody says, "Oh, I wish I didn't buy it." Everybody's absolutely. They may want bigger for bigger venues, but that's just a size thing. So I mean, you can always work on that later on. But for using at home or in a studio space or taking out to parties, pretty good. But try to find yourself a 15-inch subwoofer like the Alto TS, any 15. TS15S is their new ones, but their 315s were really good. I would recommend those ones. You can get one of those at a Guitar Center, and it sounds perfect. Save yourself half the price. Buy them. Buy them. So there you go. Let's take an overhead look just to see how beautiful that was. So I want to say thank you all very much for watching tonight's video. Yeah, the next one, I'm literally going to have a speaker set up and we're going to do some different frequencies and play around with it with an overhead camera and show some sound waves and shit like that going on. So I think that's pretty cool. And then I've got some stuff that I actually legitimately have to repair. So we'll have to figure out how to do that one because that'll be a cool video. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye for now. And this is the hard part. This is where I got to figure out all by myself.